Welcome to the Spinning Rock Podcast. Conversations for the curious, the seekers, and the builders of tomorrow. With your host, Utkal. May these episodes move you, challenge you, and remind you of your place in the story. Please, enjoy.
Welcome back to episode 9 of the Spinning Rock Podcast. It's been a minute, but the NBA season kicks off tonight, and there's no way I wasn't, putting out my predictions for this year. I am a Celtics fan, and Jason Tatum is hurt, so that's bittersweet, but I've been an NBA fan my whole life, and, I've been putting my predictions to paper, pretty much for the last 10 years. So I've never actually had the ability to, say them out loud. So this will be fun. So this is my official NBA preview for the 25-26 season. I'm going to go worst to first in each conference, kind of breaking down each team's starting lineup, development, why I had them ranked where they are, kind of what their chemistry is looking like, and how their season's going to go. And then after we run through all 30 teams, I'll give you my predictions for the conference finals and, who I think is going to win the NBA finals as well. And I'll give out my season awards and, pretty much wrap it up. And we're not doing clutch player award because that award is dumb, and I think the NBA needs to get rid of it. I think they should have a playoff clutch player instead of the regular season because does it really matter if you're clutch in the regular season? But whatever. We got a massive season ahead, stacked storylines, and it all starts tonight with the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder hanging their banner, ring night for them against the new look Houston Rockets with Kevin Durant. Should be an interesting matchup. 7:30 Eastern time. It is 6 p.m. right now for me, so let's get into this. Let's get into these rankings for the year. So we're gonna start in the Western Conference. Number 15, I got the Utah Jazz right here. I think they're still rebuilding. They still got some young talent. So their projected lineup is supposed to be, where do we have the Utah Jazz? So they got Isaiah Collier, Ace Bailey, the rookie, Taylor Hendricks, Lauri Markkanen, and Walker Kessler. So Ace Bailey did look really good in the preseason. He's like a 6'10", kind of like a Kevin Durant, Jaden McDaniels type of player. So I think he can definitely be good in the future. I just don't think, they have enough talent around him. Obviously Lauri's been an all-star in the past years, and everyone wants to trade for Walker Kessler, but, Utah's really not trying to win right now. They're just, trying to stockpile draft picks. Danny Ainge loves to do that. They're trying to develop Collier and Hendricks and, kind of get a little more chemistry with them. So it's kind of why I have them here. And, I think they might have the number 1 pick next year. Who knows? So, Utah is always bottom of barrel team, and they got a couple of cool rookies. Walter Clayton Jr. Definitely gonna put up a lot of shots for them. Kyle Filipowski can play as well. Keontae George I like. Bryce Sessenbo, is that how you say his name? But him as well. Cody Williams. So they got some players that can play a little, but I don't think they're gonna do much this year. So I got them number 15. All right, number 14, I got the Sacramento Kings finishing at number 14. So I think the Kings just have an old roster, man. They they have Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Sabonis in their starting lineup. And I just think these guys have, just been proven to be like kind of middling guys, and guys that aren't gonna, really carry your team, especially in a loaded West to a playoff spot. So I mean, Kings are okay team. They just signed Keegan Murray to a huge deal. I like Malik Monk. They kind of had that magic a couple years ago, with the Light the Beam team and all that. But I think the Kings are gonna have a very underwhelming season this year. So I root for my South Asian owners out there, but Vivek's got to run a little tighter ship there, and Russell Westbrook, I don't know if that's gonna be the missing piece that helps the Kings get back to the playoffs. So ever since the De'Aaron Fox trade, Kings have kind of looked very shaky. So yeah, Kings at 14. At 13, I have another surprise team who people might think will be better than this, but I don't really believe in them. I have the Memphis Grizzlies here. They did trade away Desmond Bain, which I don't like for them. He was really good perimeter defensive guy. And their starting lineup right now is Ja Morant, Caldwell Pope, who looked kind of washed the last couple years. Jalen Wells, who's a nice rookie last year. Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey. So I just feel like they're getting worse year in, year out. That roster a couple years ago that was gritty. At Dylan Brooks, Tyus Jones. It's not the same roster anymore. Brandon Clark's been hurt a lot. Gigi Jackson, okay, like Ty Jerome, he can be a guy. Maybe he can be the same guy he was last year for the Cavs, but I just don't think they're. I just think they're gonna have a very underwhelming year. They lost kind of that explosiveness a little bit with Desmond Bain and his 3-point shooting. So I think they're going to miss his offense a little bit. And I don't know if these other guys can fill it in. Maybe if Jalen Wells gets a little bit better, maybe next year they got a chance. But, I'm not seeing it this year for the Memphis. So I got them on 13. Number 12, I got Portland. I'm a fan of Portland this year. I don't know why. I like them. They traded for Drew Holiday, who looked pretty good in the preseason, but Shaedon Sharp, I really like Shaedon Sharp. He's super explosive, bouncy player. I think he can be really good. He's super underrated. And Denny Advia is, pretty solid. I like Tumani Kamara's defense, and Klingon, is pretty solid as well, especially on the defensive end. So I think if their pick, Young Hansen, can play, like, they might have a chance to be pretty decent. And, they still got Robert Williams, and, Scoot can be something, but, you can learn from Drew a little bit. And, I kind of like the Trailblazers, and Chauncey Billups, their coach. He's putting in that work. And yeah, I think they're building something nice there. So I got Portland finishing 12. Could finish a little higher than that. This next team, I kind of like them a little bit too. After maybe a couple down years, Phoenix Suns, I have at 11. I think they made a couple nice trades in the offseason, kind of get out of that Durant and Beal fiasco. So they got Booker. They still got their franchise guy there. They traded for Jalen Green in that Kevin Durant trade. So they got Booker and Green as their starting backcourt. And I kind of like Ryan Dunn. And, they got Dylan Brooks as well in that deal. And then they traded for Mark Williams. So kind of a new team they got. And I'm interested to see how it looks on the court. But, yeah, I'm kind of liking it. They got Grayson Allen to hit those threes. Dylan Brooks can hit threes as well. So you got a lot of 3 and D guys. Yeah, and I mean Jalen Green was the leading scorer on the Rockets, who were the number 2 seed last year. So he's not a bad player, and I like Iguodaro too. Um, that guy they have, he's a solid 3. Royce O'Neal up and down, Nick Richards, serviceable backup big. So I like the Suns here at 11. All right, number 10, I got the Pelicans finishing right inside of the play-in. So yeah, 7 to 10 is the play-in. 7 plays 8, 9 plays 10, and then yeah, whatever. That's how it goes, and then the losers and winner plays each other. Yeah, so I got the Pelicans finishing right at the 10 seed right here. And they kind of have a new look roster as well. They got Jordan Poole, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think he can be decent. Because he's playing next to Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, who are defensive monsters. And Skinny Zion maybe can be a guy this year. So this is kind of just the Zion's going to be good this year bet. So I believe in his talent, and they got Missy at the 5, their rookie last year, who played pretty well, and they've still got pretty good depth. Alvarado, Sadiq Bey. They drafted Jeremiah Fears, who they hope can be a good guard. Jordan Hawkins, pretty good 3-point shooter. They signed Kevon Looney from the Warriors as well. So, DeJounte Murray coming back from that ACL, probably not this year. They traded that first round pick as well for Derek Queen, which is controversial, but they still got a squad, that I think they can compete. Pretty good depth. I'm a Herb Jones guy. I think he's a defensive monster, defensive player of the year candidate for sure. So Pelicans finishing at the 10th seed and possibly making some noise in the play-in. Now they'll probably lose that next game, because the next team I got at the 9th seed is the Dallas Mavericks, who are kind of loaded. They are loaded. I mean, Kyrie is coming back from that ACL tear, I believe. What's it? Yeah, ACL tear. And he's probably not going to play, or maybe he's going to come back later in the year. But if he was healthy, this team could definitely be higher. But they're starting D'Angelo Russell right now. He's pretty serviceable. Can make some threes in the definitely a regular season kind of player. But got Klay Thompson, and then there's sensational rookie Cooper Flagg at the 3. I think Cooper Flagg's gonna be a monster. Maybe 28-5 in his rookie year. Anthony Davis at the 4. He's gonna have a great year. Derek Lively at the 3. So Dallas they're a stacked team for sure, and this year's kind of just gonna be let's get some minutes for Cooper. Let's see how he can develop. I really like Max Christie too. He's a great 3-point shooter. Plays good defense, and Jaden Hardy can give you some nice minutes. Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin as well. So obviously PJ Washington too. So, they got a pretty nice squad, and once Kyrie comes back, I think they can do some damage next year. So, pretty solid team. Excited to see how Cooper Flagg looks. So I got the Mavericks finishing as the 9th seed in the West. All right, these next teams are the teams you expect to see in the playoffs this year. The better teams in the league and in the West. So number 8, I have the San Antonio Spurs. This is strictly a Wembanyama takes that huge leap pick. I think, he's going to win multiple Defensive Player of the Years, maybe multiple MVPs. I just think he has GOAT potential, and he's just the generational talent that, I just can't see him being bad. And yeah, I think he kind of turns it on and brings them to another level this year. So I think they get that 8th seed. They got that rookie Dylan Harper as well, and see what he can do. and I like Stephon Castle as well. So their starting lineup, they got De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, and Wembanyama. So still got that like adult leadership in the room to kind of get him through. And they got that young talent with Fox and Vassell and Castle and Harper, who's not even getting minutes for them right now. So I think they could be a deep team, and Wembanyama can take them to that next level. Number 7, I got the Warriors. The Warriors are an interesting team. Their core of their team is really old. They signed Al Horford, who they expect to start for them. So they got Steph Curry, Moses Moody, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Al Horford in their starting lineup. That's very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they get through the regular season. I have them as a 7th seed just because I'm betting on, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler. That team should not make the playoffs, but, Buddy Hield, Trace Jackson, Jonathan Kuminga with the weird vibes, Gary Payton, Pods, Quentin Post, their team is pretty similar to what it was last year. So they didn't really do much in free agency except lose Kevin Looney. So, and they only got older. So I'm kind of expecting them to be the same team they were last year. Kind of get in the playoffs, losing round 1. Or they beat the Rockets last year, so losing round 2 and consecutively. And yeah, they're just... I don't believe them being a championship team, and I think it's kind of sad to see the end of Steph and Jimmy. But yeah, I think they still make the playoffs and end up as a 7th seed. Number 6, I got another team that had a weird offseason in a different way. Some under the table business deals by Kawhi or by the Clippers to Kawhi, giving him, millions of dollars with a fake tree trimming company named Aspiration. Just weird story. Basically why Kawhi went there is the Clippers could give him a bunch of money that the NBA didn't know about, and yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll take it. I don't want to play with LeBron anymore. Or not anymore, but I don't want to play with LeBron at all. I want to be the king myself. So let me take all this under the table money to go to the Clippers. But the Clippers are absolutely stacked this year. It's just saying this roster out loud is insane. James Harden, Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, John Collins, Ivica Zubac. That's their starting lineup. Absolutely stacked. They got a bunch of pieces as well in the offseason, They added Brooke Lopez as well, Chris Paul. They still have Batum, Bogey, Chris Dunn, Derek Jones Jr. And yeah, they're super deep. I think they could even finish a little bit higher than here, depending on Kawhi's health. And I think that offseason stuff isn't gonna affect him because he's like a robot anyway. So I think the Clippers are gonna be fine, and they're gonna be really good just because they got so much talent on the roster, and Ty Lue's a good coach. This is also kind of like the final stand for these old guys in LA. Kawhi, Paul George, they don't get it done this year. They're probably out of there. So it's interesting to see how this year unfolds. Speaking of the other old guy in LA, at number 5, I got the Lakers with Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, JJ Redick. Interested to see what they can do this year. I just think that they're not going to be bad with Luca and JJ Redick as a head coach. They're just too maniacal to be bad. So I have them finishing as a 5 seed. LeBron is missing the first couple weeks of the season with an injury. I mean, he's like year 24, 23. He's like 41. Is he 41? I don't know, but year 23. They're starting Luca, Austin Reeves, Rui, LeBron, and they got their center that they wanted. I don't know if they wanted him, but serviceable center in DeAndre Ayton. So I think he's a very inconsistent guy. I don't know if he's going to be the answer there, but he's just serviceable 15 and 8 a night. Dalton Connect looks like he kind of took a step back in the preseason. I think he's like a very old rookie, or he was last year. So I think he kind of hit his ceiling already, and they got Marcus Smart. Let's see if he has anything left in the tank. And they had Jared Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent as kind of their rotational guys. So the kind of same roster from last year, maybe a little bit better. So I think just because they have Luka there, they're gonna finish 5. At number 4, I'm taking the Timberwolves, who beat the Lakers last year in 5. Anthony Edwards is in his prime, so I think this team is going to be a top 5 seed. They got Mike Conley, grizzled veteran, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert. Julius Randle played really well in the playoffs last year, so let's see if he can kind of bring that to the regular season a bit. I think he needs to take the load off of Ant a little bit so you can, save some up for the back end of the season. I like Rob Dillingham. He's really shifty. Let's see if he can take another leap. They don't really have crazy amount of depth. I like Naz Reid, Terrence Shannon Jr., but they do rely on Ant and Dante as well. But Ant, Jaden McDaniels, and Nas to kind of carry the load for them, and they kind of need some of these other guys to step up a little bit, like Dillingham. And, Mike Conley is getting a little bit older. Let's see if they can get something from Jalen Clark from UCLA. So I think Ant's in his prime, so he's going to average, 27, 28 points. And, Timberwolves are going to be good. So number 4 seed, Timberwolves. Number 3 seed, I'm taking the Houston Rockets with Kevin Durant. I think this team is really, really good. I think they would have been a contender to win the championship if Fred VanVleet didn't tear his ACL and is out for the year just like a couple weeks ago. So sad to hear, but I still think this team's going to be good. I really like Reed Shepherd. He's probably going to be starting for them. He's really, really nice, shifty. He can hit the mid-range. Just Kentucky guards never fail. So Reed Shepherd, number 3 pick, he's going to be good. I really like Amin Thompson too. I mean, this guy is so bouncy. He's like athletic freak, like Russell Westbrook in his primes. He's their starting 2 guard. He needs to work on his jumper a little bit. If that can improve, he can be an absolute monster. And then they got Kevin Durant at the 3. He's gonna give you buckets like all day, every day. Like he's been doing it for the last 20 years. So he's gonna be 26 a night. Jabari Smith Jr. has worked on his 3 a lot. He's their starting 4, and then Sengun, just Euro basket master class out there, just looking like baby Jokic. This team is nasty. I mean, their lineup is nasty. Ime Udoka is a really nice coach. I just think they're missing a little bit of scoring. Backup big Steven Adams really good. Clinton Capella as well. They had a really nice offseason. Tari Eason I like. Jeff Green too off the bench. Josh Okogie, Jashawn Tate. Just nice team. Tari Eason as well. I think they definitely have a chance to go far in the playoffs. So I have them as the number 3 seed. Yeah, and I'm excited for these next 2 teams in the West next year, and probably the 2 best teams in the league, in my opinion. And number 2, I have the Denver Nuggets, who had an amazing offseason as well. Finally getting pieces around superstar, best player in the world, absolute demon, goated. I don't know how to describe him better than that. I mean, he's the best player in the world. He's amazing to watch. Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. They still got Jamal Murray, playoff killer, as their starting one. They just gave $25 million a year to Christian Braun, rookie extension yesterday. I like him. Plays good in the playoffs as well. Good defensive player. Traded for Cam Johnson in the offseason. Really like that trade for them. He's a really good 3-and-D player. I think he's the same player, if not better, than Michael Porter Jr. So they did a good job of replacing him. And then Aaron Gordon, always reliable as your 4 in the playoffs. Really good playoff performer as well. And then Jokic at the 5. So really like what Denver did in the offseason. I think it's looking like their year. They got Bruce Brown back as well. Tim Hardaway Jr. For some depth. Zeke Naji, Jalen Pickett. We'll see if Julian Strother can make another leap. They got Valanciunas as their backup center, who I really like. I think he's going to be really effective for them. And then we'll see if Peyton Watson can kind of make that leap as well. He played really good. He's really bouncy. Really good defender, can block shots at the rim, even for a guard. He played pretty well in the playoffs as well, along with Julian Strother. So we'll see if those guys can kind of make that leap. And if they can, this Denver team is going to be a force to reckon with. I mean, they're really good. They're really good already, even with Jokic just carrying bums around him. Now he actually has pieces. So I think Denver is going to be really good next year, and I have them finishing number 2 to the defending champions. I still have them getting the number 1 seed. I think they're going to be too good in the regular season. I think they're such a young team that they're just getting better, and they got SGA at the 1, Dort at the 2, Jalen Williams at the 3, Chet at the 4, and Hartenstein at the 5, bringing back that same championship lineup. And I mean, there's a reason you watch like the preseason, and the OKC like G Squad team is beating like any other NBA team's G Squad team by like 60 points. They just like have such good developmental programs. They draft really well. I mean, their roster is pretty insane. Alex Caruso, Usman Deng, Isaiah Joe, AJ Mitchell. They drafted Nikola Topic, number 10 last year, and he didn't even play for them. Kason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, the other Jalen Williams, Kenrich Williams. I mean, just have a really good team. Brought back pretty much the entire team from last year. So I think they're going to be dominant in the regular season again this year and take that number 1 seed. All right, this one kind of long, and I do enjoy talking about each of these teams. So I think I'm going to just, for this episode specifically, I'm going to just keep it the Western Conference, and then next episode I'm going to do my Eastern Conference standings predictions. Keep it a little bit shorter, and then get through all my playoff picks and awards picks and all that, and kind of wrap through it. So all right, yeah, thanks for listening. This is my Western Conference stand-ins. So I got OKC 1, Denver 2, Houston 3, the Timberwolves 4, the Lakers 5, the Clippers 6, the Warriors 7, the Spurs 8, the Mavericks 9, the Pelicans 10, the Suns 11, The Portland Trailblazers 12, the Grizzlies 13, the Kings 14, and the Utah Jazz finishing last at 15. All right, see you for the Eastern Conference ones. Peace.